Hey there, folks. This is Richard of DoomedMovieThon.com. Hey there, folks. This is Richard of DoomedMovieThon.com. Welcome to another episode of My Horror Shelfie. My Horror Shelfie is a video series where I talk about every single horror movie on my horror movie shelves, and you're going to listen to it. And presumably, you're going to watch me do that. Thank you for watching me do that. I don't know if you guys know this, but I finished the letter E, which means I get to do the next letter. So hold on. The next available letter, of course, is Giallo. Let's look at my Giallo collection and talk about it. Talk all about it. Roll that beautiful bean footage. So before we get started, I just want to ask you to please go to the Amazon.com and look at my book, Giallo Meltdown, a Movie-Thon Diary. I watched too many Giallo movies and wrote a whole book about it. I'm sorry. The next thing, of course, is that I'm going to talk about a lot of films that people don't think are Giallo. You know, we all have our differences of opinions about what is and isn't a Googie film. According to my math calculator, I have to talk about 18.25 movies every single episode for the next 4 episodes to get through everything. That, of course, is thrown off by the bonus content of the box sets I'm going to talk about as well. So, without further ado, let's start this mother trucker video. All the Colors of the Dark. This is probably my favorite Sergio Martino. This used to not be super favorite of mine, but now it has climbed to the highest echelon of climbing that things can climb. You've got George Hilton, you've got frickin' Edwidge Fenech in it, and it's just great stuff. The cult satanico people are in this, being satanic. It's wild. This is a very fun movie. And it takes place in England, like all proper Giallos pretend to. Amic, this is a trashy, sleazy movie. I'm still waiting for a nicer copy of it. There probably is one, but I've still got this old Eurovista DVD, which is a nice gray market VHS, because Aliens made it. Farley Granger, Barbara Boucher, Rosselle Beneri, being trashy. And also it's pretty creepy. It's got some scary parts to it. My second favorite Mario Bava film, we got A Bay of Blood. This is full of lots of characters and lots of murders, and it's fun, and it's gory, and it's a influential movie that happened. I love the tone of this. It's got that creepy vibe to it that I love so much. I tried showing this to a group of people once, and they hated it. Like, I was surrounded by my enemies, and I was really disappointed. But also, the old DVD, you couldn't understand a single thing anyone was saying. And there's a lot of talking in this movie, like a lot dialogue. But I love it, and I don't hang out with those people anymore. Berberian Sound Studio. Now I know this is not a proper Giallo, but it just captures the spirit so perfectly, and it's about dubbing. It's about a dubbing studio where they dub all the different versions of the movies. I'm going to say the word dub again. And it definitely has a mysterious plot to it. Then it gets really weird, and the whole movie seems to break and fall apart, and I love every moment of it. Points to me for having the courage to have this in my Giallo shelves. Argento alert, look out, it's the Bard. This is the Bard with the crystal pen right in the screenplay. Classic, redefined the genre. It's also got Susie Kendall. I call her Susie Kendall, but that's just me. Can't go wrong with this one. I don't like this one as much as a lot of his other ones. I think it's a great movie, but I don't reach for it very often. I have seen it many times, and so I'm taking a long break from when I watch it again. We'll get to his most watchable of his films for me in this series of videos. But yeah, I mean, it's great. You might as well watch it if you like birds that are just peacocks. The Black Belly of the Tarantula. We have good old Giancarlo Giannini slumming it, not doing the big fancy art stuff, doing a nice thriller. Although, you know, good old Giannini did quite a few of these movies. He liked to do stuff in all kinds of genres, but I always found it funny, like Mr. Intense artsy guy is in this trashy little thriller here. More Barbara Boucher, you got Barbara Bach. It's just super stylish, super cool, and has all the imagery you could ever want in a Giallo. I think the gloves aren't black, I think the gloves are brown. But you got mannequins. I think you even have a mannequin with blood on it in this one. I mean, that's pretty important. And one of my, I think, slightly underrated Giallo actresses, which is Annabella Incontrera. She's in this, and she's great as always. Here's a movie that takes a little while to get going in your brain, at least for me. This is A Black Veil for Lisa, with our pal and yours, Luciano Paluzzi, and of course, Robert Hoffman. I love Robert Hoffman. He's so fun in these movies. But this one, it took a while. I really didn't like it the first time, and maybe the second as well. Probably just, it wasn't very memorable. And it wasn't until the Olive Films Blu-ray came out that I gave this one yet another shot, and it clicked for me. It's just really pretty and not terribly original. You've seen this story a few times before, but I'm a fan now. Okay, double feature here. We got Mario Bava's A Blade in the Dark, which is Giallo as hell, and you've got his Macabre here, which is sort of a Giallo. It's got a little mystery to it. Definitely not a traditional Giallo tale at all. But A Blade in the Dark, I have heard rumors that the Italian language version is less silly and less ridiculously fun, because that's one thing I love about A Blade in the Dark is every time the characters open their mouths, it's hilarious. And that's just part of the charm. I hesitate to ever check out the Italian with its probably more original intention. Yeah, it's just so fun, endlessly quotable, pretty movie. Like a lot of Mario Bava's stuff, it's a little too long. He always seemed to have that like 5, I don't want to say 10 minutes, but 5 or 6 minute drag in his movies that if you love Lamberto Bava, then you will love him. I'm hoping I've been saying Lamberto Bava and not Mario Bava. We call him Lam Bava, so Lam Bava. Speaking of the father, it's Mario Bava doing his Blood and Black Lace. This is another film I love very dearly. Back when I didn't have very many Giallo films to watch, my shelves were just like one shelf full of Giallo at one point. Giallo and Italian horror stuff. So I had to watch what I owned over and over again, which is a good thing. You should be doing that. And of course, watching Blood and Black Lace over and over and over again meant that I don't watch it as often as I used to, though I absolutely still love it. This is the Arrow Blu-ray, quite an upgrade from the old VCI DVD. The original VCI DVD that I had was pretty nice for a DVD, and then they re-released it, saying that they had remastered it. So I bought it again, and they had put out a shittier copy of their own movie that they already had. This super compressed copy of the original, and it was like, I never trusted VCI again. So if you find an old VCI DVD of Blood and Black Lace, it might look pretty good, it might look like garbage. I am halfway through my stack of movies, and therefore I think you deserve a cat break. Let's take a cat break. The Case of the Scorpion's Tail. This is a Giallo that is also not way up there on my top list. Of course, George Hilton and Anita Strindberg are incredible in this movie. I don't know what it is. This one, it just doesn't quite capture me like a lot of the others do. I think it's really good. I certainly like the first half of the movie more than the second half. The fun part is the fake plane. They have a plane exploding at the beginning of the movie, and it's the saddest model plane. And instead of using any kind of like fiery substance to make it like explode or look like it's on fire, is they just sort of filled it with like talcum powder and then popped it. and it just looks like someone threw like baking flour or something in the air. It's really bad. The ending of this one is wonderful. I really, really love it. Speaking of watchable films, this is Dario Argento's Cat o' Nine Tails, a movie that for some reason is my favorite one for just watching over and over again. This and his little movie called Suspiria, I've seen probably the most. Phenomena, I've seen a bunch of times, but I keep coming back to Cat o' Nine Tails. I know this is not a lot of people's favorite. I know that even Argento thought this was a big failure, but it's super great. Carl Malden in a Giallo, that's just bizarre. Catherine Spock with big old helmet hair. You got Rada Razumov, the actress who's the sister of Ivan Razumov. She's got big old helmet hair in that too. It's confusing and scary. Spanish Giallo. I like those people who say that only Italian movies can be Giallo. That's funny. Here's a Spanish Giallo. This is The Corruption of Chris Miller. This is a frickin' dark, messed up movie, dude, and it's really good. Just gorgeous and genuinely unsettling, I think. Juan Antonio Bardem. I know nothing about him. I should see what else he did. I'm really glad that Vinegar Syndrome picked this one up. Used to watch this on an old full frame, crappy bootleg, and now this looks glorious. So, highly recommend The Corruption of Chris Miller. Cauldron Films has been kicking ass lately, and they put out a great copy of The Crimes of the Black Cat. Not a lot of restoration work into this, but they didn't mess it up by trying to do like the digital noise reduction or anything like that. It's just a beat up print that they salvaged, and it's definitely watchable. I really enjoy this film. It has one of the most brutal... That guy is out there in a t-shirt. Dude, it's too cold to just wear a t-shirt. Look, I know I'm in Tampa, but that guy's cold. Come on. This has one of the most brutal murders in it. You think the movie's over, and then somebody gets gotten, and the camera lingers and zooms in and just captures what is easily one of the most bloody, gory, and just ouchy. Like, ooh, ow! And it's got my guy, Anthony Stephan. I freaking love Anthony Stephan. I think he's a good actor. Stop the video. Start the talking. Keep them both going. I'm not done yet. Folks, the dead are alive. This is my favorite Giallo of all time. I love The Dead Are Alive. This is the tone I want. This is the vibe that I need from a movie. It also is full of ridiculous characters, unlikable characters. It's got this like weird energy. Really, really unusual energy that I just didn't even know I needed in my life, and now I want more of it. This is from good old Armando Crispino. He also directed Autopsy, aka Sunspots, which is going to be in the box sets I'm going to talk about later. I love him. I love this and Autopsy so much. They're so good. Alex Cord is the most ridiculous actor ever. I love him. He's got big hands. I don't have big hands. He's got big hands, and he acts with them a lot. And he's very, very Shatner-esque in the way he delivers dialogue. He's great. You can't spell Tinto Brass without ass. Tinto Brass is my least favorite Italian director sometimes. I think about his sexy movies, and I want to crawl into a hole and die.
You shouldn't ever have any sex in your movies. This is nasty.
No, I'm just kidding. He's fine. Whatever. I just wish he'd stuck with the artsy stuff and the, less butt-related movies. This Giallo is so awesome. This is deadly sweet. It's very pop art, explosion of color and excitement, and yet it's got a super, not generic, but like super by-the-numbers Giallo plot, like just hidden under all of this artifice. And you could tell he wanted to have fun. Because the couple of other movies of his that I've seen around this time were super artsy. So I think he made this to make a studio happy or something, but definitely brought his own thing. Plus, it's got Ua All-In. I love Ua All-In. I can barely say her name, I love her so much. Speaking of names I can say perfectly, it's got Jean-Louis Jean-Louis Trententacles. He's good. Another stone cold favorite of mine, Death Smiles at Murder. Hold on, bro. You can't have a supernatural movie in your Giallos. Guess what? It's called Giallo Fantastico. I read it in a book, and I saw it in a book. So obviously you can have a supernatural Giallo. Dario Argento, or other people who aren't watching this video. No, this is, speaking of the vibe, speaking of Ua All-In, this is so good. You got your boy, Luciano Rossi. Oh my god, he's so good in this. This is just exactly what I look for in a film. It's got the mystery, it's got murders, but you find out what's going on and you go, huh? It's also got Klaus Kinski basically playing a mad scientist who stares broodingly at everyone. You ever seen a movie with Klaus Kinski where he stares broodingly? Me neither. Arrow Video, thank you so much for putting this out. Back to No Shame. Good old No Shame returns from the darkness of being a company that doesn't exist anymore. And we've got a double feature of Luciano Ercoli's films. Death Walks on High Heels and Death Walks at Midnight. These DVDs were good when they came out. Of course, Arrow Video has swooped in and put out these as well. If you're looking for a prime example of what a Giallo is, if you want to show someone who's never seen one before, either of these films will work great. I prefer Death Walks at Midnight. It's craziness. It's got a lot of craziness packed into it. Also, it's got Susan Scott, aka Nieves Navarro. She is so beautiful and so vivacious, and she wears a lot of wigs. I think every movie I've seen with her, she puts on a crazy wig. Even a movie where she was dressed normally, for her character, it was a very normal drama movie. She still wore an obvious wig. I love her. Last movie before I finally stop talking for a few minutes. Deep Red, or as I call it, Deep Brad, because this is my buddy Brad's favorite. This movie. I don't have to say too much. Hopefully you've already gotten to this one in your Giallo ventures. This is just sublime and great. I guess this is, Argento's I'm gonna make my last Giallo ever, bro. This is it. This is the one. And he blasted this movie into the eyes of the humans. And of course, after an art film, he came right back and said, okay, I'll keep making, thrillers. Did I almost hint that I think Suspiria is a Giallo? Weird. Better people than me have had lots to say about this film. That was weird. I forgot what movie I was talking about. Well, with that, it's time to stop talking because I just broke my movie video. Folks, I'm going to be back with another 18.25 films. I am really excited to talk a lot to you, and I hope you've enjoyed this one, so be sure to stick around for eventual times of the next video. And if you want to argue with me about anything dumb I said, which has probably happened, or you want to tell me what is or isn't a Giallo, please, by all means, talk to me in the comments and let me know what you think about things in the comments that I said to you. Let's go.